You can still hear it if you think about it long enough. The scrape of a metal chair leg on linoleum. The zipper of a backpack fighting for its life. The dry squeak of a marker that's almost out of ink. Somewhere in the room, a pencil drops, and half the class looks up like it's a major event. That's how school felt in the 1990s. Loud in small ways. Tangible. Full of objects that somehow mattered more than they should have. Today we're stepping back into that world. Not the big stuff like TV shows or video games, but the everyday tools that lived in your backpack, your desk, or the bottom of your locker. The kind of things you didn't think twice about at the time, but that now hit with an almost ridiculous wave of nostalgia. This is a walk through 10 school supplies every 90s kid will remember. The stuff that defined classrooms before screens took over. When your pencil case said more about you than your social media profile ever could. If you grew up in the 1990s, this is going to feel familiar, maybe uncomfortably familiar. And if you didn't, this is a glimpse into what school life actually felt like back then, not the filtered version. By the end of this, you'll probably remember a smell, a sound, or a tiny classroom ritual you hadn't thought about in years. Picture the room first. Fluorescent lights buzzing faintly overhead. Posters peeling slightly at the corners. A chalkboard that was never fully clean. Desks with names carved into them by generations of bored students. Backpacks slumped against chair legs, and inside those backpacks, treasures. Let's start with the king of the pencil case, the Trapper Keeper. If you had one, you knew. Velcro flap, loud enough to turn heads when you opened it. Neon colors. Geometric patterns. Sometimes a wolf or a sports car for no clear reason. Inside, folders snapped in and out like modular components of your academic life. It wasn't just a binder. It was a statement. You could tell who was organized, who wasn't, and who definitely spent too long choosing theirs at the store. Then, there were mechanical pencils, the good ones. Not the flimsy kind that snapped if you looked at them wrong. The solid ones with grips, sometimes transparent so you could see the gears inside. You always had that one kid who clicked it non-stop during tests. And of course the eternal struggle, lead breaks, erasers gone, borrowing from the kid next to you and never giving it back. Wooden pencils existed too, but mechanical ones felt futuristic, like school supplies from the year 2000. Speaking of erasers, let's talk about the chunky pink ones. Rectangular, slightly dusty, smelled faintly like rubber and disappointment. They never erased cleanly. They just smeared your mistakes into a lighter shade of regret. And yet, every pencil case had one. Some kids even collected novelty erasers shaped like fruit or animals, which never got used because that would somehow ruin them. Now imagine opening your desk and hearing the clink of a metal pencil sharpener. The kind bolted to the wall made a sound that echoed through the classroom, like an alarm. But the handheld ones, those were personal. Clear plastic, maybe blue or green, filled with curly pencil shavings that smelled weirdly good. There was always that moment of shaking it out into the trash and watching the spirals fall like confetti. Here's a memory trigger for you: crayons. Specifically, the big Crayola box. The one with the built-in sharpener on the back. 64 colors felt excessive in the best way. You never used half of them, but you liked knowing they were there. Midnight blue. Macaroni and cheese. That weird green no one liked. And there was always one kid who peeled the paper off every crayon for no reason at all. Markers were a different story. The scented ones. Grape, cherry, blue raspberry. Officially for coloring. Unofficially, deeply sniffed during art class. The smell alone could transport you back to elementary school in half a second. Some teachers banned them because kids kept huffing them like it was a hobby. Others just gave up and let it happen. Then came the notebooks, spiral bound, always catching on your backpack zipper. The covers were a personality test. Dinosaurs, skateboards, kittens. abstract patterns that screamed 1997. Inside, the paper had that faint blue line spacing that somehow felt different from today's. And in the margins, doodles, so many doodles, shapes, band logos, names of crushes written and crossed out. Highlighters deserve their own moment. Neon yellow was the default, but the real flex was having the full set. Pink, green, orange, sometimes purple. You'd highlight way too much, turning your notes into a glowing mess. It felt productive, even when it wasn't. Studying meant color coding, even if you didn't know why. Folders were another quiet battlefield. Plastic or paper, with or without prongs. Some had images of dolphins or race cars. Others were plain, already bent at the corners by October. And inside them lived loose papers that were absolutely important and definitely going to be lost before the next test. Let's not forget the ruler, transparent, always cracked at one end. Used more for drumming on desks than measuring anything. Occasionally snapped in half during moments of boredom or stress. Same goes for protractors, which most people used exactly once and then carried around for the rest of the year for no reason. And finally, the pencil case itself, fabric, plastic, sometimes shaped like a tube or a mini backpack, zippers that jammed, ink stains inside, a mysterious collection of broken pencils, dried out pens, and one object no one could identify. It was chaos, but it was your chaos. Here's the strange part. None of these things were special on their own. They were cheap, replaceable, mass-produced, but together, they formed the texture of everyday life. They were touched every day, borrowed, lost, found again. They absorbed the mood of school in the 90s, when learning was physical and noisy and imperfect. Think about how different it is now. Tablets instead of notebooks. Styluses instead of pencils. Files instead of folders. Efficient, sure, but quieter, cleaner, less human somehow. And that's why these school supplies stick in the memory. They weren't just tools. They were companions through awkward years, through boredom and excitement, through doodles and daydreams. They lived in backpacks that were thrown around, lockers that slammed shut, classrooms that smelled like chalk and floor cleaner. So if this video brought back a specific smell or sound or image, you're not alone. That's the magic of shared memory. A simple object can unlock an entire era. And maybe that's the real reason we keep coming back to the past. Not because it was perfect, but because it was tangible. You could hold it, break it, lose it, and somehow, it still stuck with you. That's it for today's walk through the school supplies every 90s kid remembers. If this stirred up a memory or two, you're in the right place. Past and present have a funny way of bumping into each other like that. And we'll be here next time to explore another small piece of the past that still echoes today.